Log it on. It's CaribbeanLimeLive.com.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yes, massive. So we locked on right now to the vibes, and we're going to be talking to none other than Mr. Ontrack Disco.
Yeah.
If you take your attention to the screen, you will see Ontrack is ready and waiting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'd like to say a good afternoon to Ontrack. Ontrack, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
All right, once again, Ontrack, can you hear us?
You hear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're hearing you on track, but you're just chopping up a little bit.
Yeah.
So let me try that again, right? Can you hear us good?
Yeah.
Hear you?
Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah.
You're still chopping up a bit, but you know, we'll work with it and we'll see what happens, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're gonna get talking to Ontrack and find out what he's going on. Hopefully the connection could improve a little bit and we could get that audio up and running properly. Let me try it one more time. Ontrack, say something there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you're still breaking up Ontrack. So you have to fix your audio.
What?
Okay, all right. I think we get this over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. There you go. Loud and clear. People, Ontrack is in the building. Ontrack, big up your status, bedroom. How things with you, what you have going on with yourself. If
Everything is everything, man. I'm here fighting the fight like everybody else, waiting for the world to open back up so we can do what we do best.
as usual, what have you been up to recently?
Well, I mean, you know, they say when life gives you lemon, you gotta make lemonade, right? So, I've been doing a lot of online events. You know, primarily Ontrack, at least the Charlotte version of Ontrack, we do a lot of weddings and corporate events.
Okay.
So, you know, although COVID has made that more difficult, we found some creative ways to keep that going. You know, we've done a lot of events where we've added streaming options so people can still share their special events with their loved ones even though they can't physically be there. So, you know, we've done a good amount of that. We've done some online parties. I know when COVID first started, we were hosting our monthly event online.
Okay.
And I saw you in the room jumping up a couple times.
Yes. And what's that better
So,
than?
for the most part, that's it. Not too much outside. You know, we kind of want to wait till everybody's comfortable and we can really promote something that gets the crowd all out at one time, you know?
So, going through this whole pandemic, because, you know, it hit all of us by surprise. So a lot of entertainers down to DJs, artists, everybody, it just hit us by surprise. And then we had to find some creative ways to try and maneuver throughout this whole pandemic stuff. So I would just like to know, like, how has it impacted you personally, per se, going through this whole pandemic stuff as a DJ and as a person of your status?
Well, it's impacted me pretty heavily. You know, I would say the vast majority of DJs that are around, you know, DJing is their second thing. When I got laid off in corporate America about 6 years ago, I made DJing my primary means of income. So, you know, the change has greatly impacted me. Fortunately, I don't put all of my eggs in one basket. So I found that and other skill sets I've had to kind of, you know, to continue to tread water through all of that. But, you know, we still push forward, you know. That's how Caribbean people are in general, so.
So you mentioned about, you know, since you left corporate, you know, the corporate world about 6 years ago, I would like to know, what really got you started with this whole DJ thing? Like, what inspired you to get started on this whole DJ thing?
Boy, that story alone could take up this whole time, but I'm going to try to give you the short version, right?
All right.
I first, we born in Jamaica. We moved here when I was about 3 years old. Lived in Brooklyn, and so the culture is always around you. But I was a latchkey kid. My mom tried to keep me away from anything that she considered trouble, so I didn't really get out that much.
Gotcha.
But I had some cousins when I was about 12 or 13 who we would occasionally go to their basement for parties, and my uncle in the 90s was a DJ. And his kids were also DJs, and they were all in my age group. And when we go to the house for parties, I was in amazement of, what was going on behind the DJ booth. But that particular set of family was, sometimes in trouble with the law, so I wasn't really allowed to hang with them too much. So I really got heavily involved in school and running track. And
Track, okay, I didn't know that.
And all my track buddies hanging out in one of our friends in particular basement decided that we were going to start doing things besides track things and hanging out in the basement, and we started partying one summer.
So was this in New York or was this in Charlotte at this time?
We were all in Brooklyn. I moved to Charlotte about 15 years ago. We actually started, this story, where I'm at in the story right now, is in about 1989.
Oh.
So we started partying. One day, Jason, who's probably the original member of Ontrack, brought home some turntables, some Gemini turntables, and we just started buying records. And we had about a crate full of records. We said it's time to have a party. And we had a basement party, and that was the birth of Ontrack in October 1989.
89, wow, so you're in the business a while now. You're revealing your age there, no? So as you started that in 89, so when you moved to Charlotte, did you get into the DJ thing like immediately, or was that some time that you had to work up to getting into the DJ thing and like actually making a name in Charlotte?
So before I moved to Charlotte, I was working for a private airline, specifically White House and military, doing military flights.
Okay.
So I spent the last 2 years in New York really traveling the world. I wasn't really home enough, so I was starting to get disconnected from my connections and my regular bookings. But I was playing in a lot of countries. I played in Germany, I played in Italy, I played in Ireland, Amsterdam, Hawaii, in Nigeria. So those experiences kept me full, as far as wanting to stay connected to music. When I moved to Charlotte, I actually played my first party at, rest in peace, King Richard's backyard.
Right. Yes.
And when I met the TIA crew and realized that TIA was responsible for a large influx of Caribbeans to move to Charlotte, I started to make those links. And King Rich later started a Thursday night event at a place called Situations on University, and that's when I started playing for the general public.
Right.
That's why and I realized that I knew someone from Brooklyn, but that's when I really met him to create a bond.
Understand. So what was the actual, what's the biggest event that you ever played for?
So Ontrack itself, I would say the biggest event was probably the Reggae Fest at Randall's Island.
Oh, really?
Maybe 100,000 people.
Wow.
But you could already say the biggest event we ever played was on Blackfoot Truck on Eastern Parkway. So
Yes.
that is drawing me in.
Eastern Parkway, but that's a movie right there, no?
Right, right,
That's a movie right there.
Yeah.
But here in Charlotte,
Yeah.
I haven't played to that big of a crowd. Maybe one of the carnivals either in Charlotte or in Raleigh Carnival attract at one point was up to about 3,000 to 5,000 people.
Yeah.
And I've opened for a lot of artists here, maybe Tyrus Riley, Barris, Luciano,
Yeah.
Abado. Those
Yeah.
draw about 1,000 people each.
Yeah.
Right. So, being that I have you here, first of all, I want to say thank you for accepting the invitation to, chat with me and the vibe scene. Right. Yeah, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I also want to speak to you because
Yeah.
you are very versed
Yeah.
as a Jamaican. You are very versed
Yeah.
with the soca genre.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember the first time I came to Charlotte and the first time I met you is when like I was telling Copper last week, when they flew me over here to host the carnival back in 2014.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of equipment, everybody know that. So you actually provided a lot of the equipment for the venue.
Yeah.
And I think it was the Juve. I hear you bust down some soca tunes and I was like, yo, this man, yo, where does man come from? So what kind of inspired you and what kind of got you to like really take hold of that soca genre and just move forward with it?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting.
Yeah.
People don't believe I'm Jamaican, right? Because of how much I am embedded in soca culture and the rest of the Caribbean. And for so long, Jamaica has been like a separate entity because Jamaica has been pigeonholed for dancehall, right? But
Yeah.
growing up in Brooklyn, your friends are a melting pot of all countries.
Yeah.
So a good part of Ontrack crew is Guyanese, Trini, my cousin who has probably been the face of Ontrack for much of the last 10-15 years is Panamanian. So
Yeah.
that melting pot makes us grow a love and appreciation for all of the culture.
Got you.
And I just eventually grew a love for soca music. Soca music is such a happy music that no matter what kind of mood you're in, lifts you and takes you to a place that I just always admired. So I just adopted that as my thing after a while.
Yeah.
See, so now it come full circle because for years it been baffling in my mind, like how he got so involved in it. So now that you expressed that, you've been to Brooklyn and the song crew was mixed up of different cultures. Now it makes total sense to me because I remember the first time like I really actually heard you go in because you are very versatile with playing a lot of older soca and like you play all soca, but that older soca, like you have a knack for that. And I remember one time we had the all-white event in Club Tropics, and as you know, so we have a DJ inside and we have a DJ outside. So you were actually the DJ outside. So I was inside, just mingling and browsing through, emceeing a little bit. But when I came outside and saw the vibe that you were presenting, I was like, wow, I have to move to Charlotte after experiencing that vibe. And at that point in time, I kind of asked you to grab the mic, you were like, go ahead. And we practically made it a movie. It was so amazing. And ever since then, I've been, trying to keep up with you and follow you and everything like that, go to your events and everything like that. And you have really been killing it, brother. You have been killing it. And on top of killing it, so we spoke to your business partner last week about the Soca Second Saturday, and we got his opinion on how the whole Soca Second Saturday started. So now I want to hear from the man himself how you were able to get into the whole Soca Second Saturday thing.
Okay. Well, before I do that, I want to extend my appreciation for having me, and I want to remind you that night I might have had things on a level, but if you grab the mic, that's when it became a movie. So together, we created a movie that night, and I remember that night very, very, very well.
Yes.
As far as Soca Second Saturdays, there was a new restaurant in Charlotte called the Grill Social,
Right.
and we were we were trying really hard to try to get a night going for them, and it just wasn't hitting. And I realized at that point that Charlotte was kind of lacking at that moment with Twilight being closed, having a consistent place to have to hear soca music.
Gotcha.
So I tried it just as a one-off to see, at a time of desperation, to say, you know what, let's bring a soca vibe to this reggae Jamaican restaurant spot, and it went off pretty well. And although it went off pretty well, I felt it was missing something. It was missing other talent.
Okay.
And not saying that the talent that played that night wasn't good, they played very well. But I've always had a strong appreciation for the way Copper plays music. He's been a long-time friend, and he's got an energy that I just wanted to be a part of that promotion team. And I brought it across to him, and he was all for it. And that was the beginning of Soca Second Saturdays as a monthly event. And it's been a great event ever since it started. I can't. If it wasn't for COVID,
Yes.
I would love to see more than Saturday.
Yes, as a matter of fact, the last Soca Second Saturday was it took place at the Rabbit Hole.
Right,
And-
you guys.
Yes, and you got myself on high definition songs to join the cast, and man, like the crowd, the response and everything was so, like, you had to be there to actually witness this and to feel that energy was like a movie, man. So I also want to thank you for having us on the cast at that event also. Before I go further, I have to big up Tiffany from Island Buzz. She's actually locked on right now. And the whole Island Buzz family, all you big up all yourself, doing big things as well. And I also want to ask you, what is your favorite song that you don't play and why?
What genre? Can
I'm
you tell
asking
me
every
the
DJ that.
genre?
I'm asking every DJ that. What is your favorite song that you don't play and why you don't play it?
Can you say it by genre or my favorite song period? 'Cause that's a hard.
Just overall, you explain it the best way you can possible, and we'll pick up from there.
So there's not a song that I love that I don't play, but there are songs that, unless I am around a particular appreciation for music, you won't hear me play. And for me, that song is probably Yankee.
Wait, hold on. Before you move further, because I do have to recognize that. So I do have to recognize that you're very versed in soca. So I think it would be wise to ask this in two parts, right?
Okay.
So I would ask, what's your favorite soca song that you don't play in a soca fest? That's the first part, and you could answer that and why.
Don't play it in a soca
Yeah,
film.
your
Okay.
favorite soca song that you don't play.
So my favorite soca song is not a soca song, but truly love it. And it's Frankie. Because I grew up going to dancing parties, and when that song played, that's when you know the party non-stop.
Yes, exactly. So also on that note, I want to find out what's your favorite dancehall, slash reggae song that you don't play in a dancehall settings and why?
It's probably a Dennis Brown cover of a song called Little Green Apples.
That is a good choice, man. And why you don't play it?
It's probably one of my favorite songs of all time, but it's a very long song, and in today's juggling, people don't play songs as long as they used to, so I really don't get an opportunity to play it much.
And also, I'm kind of curious to know, what is your most memorable event that you DJ'd at or promoted?
He said DJ night or promoted.
Your most
I'm gonna
memorable.
pick one event. It's an event from back in the 90s that me and the crew probably our first big attempt at trying to promote a big party. And it was at a place called the Paddington Athletic Club. I don't know if you remember that place in Kumasi area.
Yeah.
It was Bodyguard, Master B, and Ontrack. We went through so many headaches and problems with trying to put that dance on. And we ended up losing money, but it was an awesome event. And from the crowd perspective, it was a movie film.
Really. Very interesting. So, we coming down to the end, but we still have a few minutes. So, I have to touch on certain subjects that everybody might be interested in knowing because the War Room, we're going to talk about the War Room. But before I get into details and what I want to speak about in the War Room, I just want to know what's your opinion on the War Room, because the War Room is a movement in Charlotte, man. If you're in Charlotte and you're into the whole Caribbean community thing, you have to know about the War Room. So I just want to know, like, what's your perspective, what's your opinion on the War Room?
What's my opinion on the War Room? Boy, when you ask somebody what's their opinion on a place like the War Room, you have to be very careful how you respond. So, I think the War Room, which I originally know as the Garage, has for a long time been a place where Big Up Star Goodwar, and Stadium, Big Up Scorpion, has tried to collectively with other members of the community bring the Caribbean community together.
Right.
And I think the War Room has basically taken that and added to Star's personality of liking to see mix up and created a place for that. And I actually love it.
Understand.
So, we can't have we can't be food at home, and we can't be a weak person to have an appreciation for the world.
Right.
It's got its own niche, but I also think that it is very entertaining and it has a place in Charlotte, and it's something that Charlotte has been missing for a while.
Yes, and once again, I would like to big up Star and thank Star for actually putting that in motion and actually bringing the War Room into life,
Definitely.
Speaking of that, let me sit back in my chair a little bit. Let me take a sip a little bit. I notice you not nothing to sip on, but we're going to talk about this right now, right? So,
I know what to talk about, but go ahead.
I know you know, right? So recently, if anybody familiar with the War Room named the War Room for a reason. You understand? Because the HNIC of the War Room like to war. You understand? It's always about war. So
Right.
he had multiple songs, and shout out to Star because with him bringing this whole clashing thing, it takes me back to earlier years in New York and in the 90s and so forth, where clashing thing was live. You understand? So being a Star, bring it back. I mean, I don't really attend much of it, because of the COVID regulations and stuff like that. I kind of try to limit my status there, but I just waiting for things to open up because that whole venue is just such a nice vibe. So Star now, he bring out songs from all over, and he have a lot of commentary on a lot of these songs that come to face off with each other. But this one particular event that he promoted was on Powder and Paint, where he said it's going to be a soca clash, right? So with the soca clash, on the soca level, on the soca standpoint, right? The people that really hardcore involved in the soca is
Yeah.
yourself and the whole
Yeah.
Caribbean Limelife movement, which I'm a part
Yeah.
of, High Def, Thunder,
Yeah.
you know, so forth. So he
Yeah.
wanted to have a clash with with
Yeah.
yourself, Copper,
Yeah.
High Definition Songs,
Yeah.
Thunder, and myself.
Yeah.
But the only man showed up was Copper. So I'm sure everybody wants to know what happened to Ontrack.
Yeah.
And before you ask that, hold on, let me make sure
Yeah.
that we could get you clear. Hold on.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I apologize for that people have to walk away from the camera because I want to try and get this clear.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know
Yeah.
what happened to Ontrack. Now before you speak, I want you to just come back from the mic a little bit because everybody wants to hear this, right? Where was Ontrack?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Where was Ontrack? We want to know.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not a difficult answer, but I'm doing eight different point of view or perceptions of what took place in that weekend, right?
Yeah.
So let me say that first.
Yeah. Yeah.
The four songs
Yeah.
that were supposed to perform that night,
Yeah.
I can't take four because I don't remember one, right? The other three songs
Yeah.
are probably three of
Yeah.
the German groups that I probably have the most love for, the most respect for, and the longest relationship with
Yeah.
in Charlotte. So the idea of clashing them was not great. One of my
Yeah.
first ideas to want to do, right?
Yeah.
But with all the little setups and you know the little things that happen on the way, it made it a very
Yeah.
fun thing. Because it got tied into the carnival, it was tied into carnival, but I played the mood and still make it a bit of a clash. People believe that I was running away from the clash. What happened was that event was initially slated to happen Friday, not the Sunday.
Yeah.
When it was a Friday, it then got moved to the Saturday, and I had a pre-wedding event booked for the Saturday, and I had a wedding booked for the Sunday. So when it moved to Saturday, ultimately to Sunday, I could no longer make it there for the beginning.
Okay.
So I was told
Yeah.
by Star that if I couldn't make it for the beginning, it would be unfair for me to join after, so I couldn't participate. This
Okay.
was at least a month prior.
Yeah.
Right.
Of
Okay.
course, I didn't share that with the public, so in their minds, Neil backed out and left Copper all by himself.
Yeah.
Which I would never do. That's my brother, and he's gonna be my brother in the war too. I would never leave him by himself without having a discussion, making sure he was okay with that, and making sure he understood everything that's associated with that.
Understand. All right.
Yeah.
Understand. So, people, you have it there.
Yeah.
He wasn't afraid or anything like that. There was nothing like that. You know, it was just basically he had other bookings that he had to take care of. Correct?
Yeah.
Correct. That is correct.
Yeah. So it's just other bookings that you have to take off.
Yeah.
So hopefully, you know, when it open back up, you know,
Yeah.
we will continue that. I really don't like to look at it as a clash, you understand? Because
Yeah.
there really are no clash in soca, you know. People just play music. Soca's a joyous thing, just like to have fun and stuff, you know. But I guess people want to see, you know,
Yeah.
the best at it, go at it.
So let me say this.
Yeah.
I understand that most people associate all the people who played that night as soca DJs,
Yeah.
but in my opinion,
Yeah.
that group over there,
Yeah.
with me added,
Yeah.
are probably a collection of the most diverse DJs in Charlotte across music, period.
Yeah.
Got you.
So I wouldn't even attach soca to it per se. Because it's Juve night, people know they're going to get an abundance of soca.
Yeah.
But I saw that as an opportunity for
Yeah.
all four DJs or DJ groups on the stage to really showcase their diversity.
Right. And you actually
Yeah.
you actually came to the event, but it just so happened that you came after everything had basically get
Right.
shut down by
Locked up.
law enforcement.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You understand? But he was actually there.
Yeah.
He was actually there. He actually came through and everything like that. But it was just, I'm assuming now it was after your event was completed or whatever. You had other commitments. So after everything,
Yeah.
you came through.
Yeah.
I actually had two events. So
Two
right
events.
before that, I was at a Island Buzz pool party.
Okay. Oh yes. I remember that.
Yeah.
Island Buzz. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
So, Ontrack, I would like to say, I highly appreciate, you taking the time out to speak to me on my show,
Yeah.
and to, voice let people get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yes, and I truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, Mr. Dandalus,
Yeah.
for inviting me to the Vibe scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have been here for a long time, all collectively doing our part
Yeah.
to uplift the culture.
Yeah.
And I'm here to do my part, and I'm glad that you've taken the time to recognize me for my efforts, and I really appreciate you for that. Thank
Definitely,
you.
man, because you're doing so much, So I just wanted to tell you, keep up the good work and everything.
Yeah.
We as a Caribbean community, we always have to, collaborate
Yeah.
for the thing to get stronger and build in order to go further.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to recognize a few people that's staple in the
Yeah.
Caribbean community as far as the entertainment
Yeah.
goes, as far as pushing things
Yeah.
further throughout Charlotte, because Charlotte, a lot of people don't know, Charlotte is the
Yeah.
place to be, man. Like, you have to recognize Charlotte,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a movement, But nevertheless, are there any handles that you would like people to know? Like, how could we get in contact with Ontrack if we have to book an event, or simply just follow up to see what Ontrack is about?
Yeah.
You have any handles on social media that you want
Yeah.
to let us know right now?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
first thing I want to clear up is Ontrack is a group. I was the first one in Charlotte, so people call me Ontrack. If we go to New York right now and somebody yell Ontrack, they're probably talking about my cousin, right? Yes. My actual DJ name is Forrest G. Some people call me Forrest Gump. But I carry the name Ontrack, and anybody is part of Ontrack carry the name Ontrack because we're a movement. You can find me on Instagram at @OntrackHD. We have a website that we do our weddings and corporate events, ontrackdj.com. I use my government on Facebook because they stopped me from using Ontrack a long time ago. So
Okay.
anybody knows me through Facebook knows me as Neil Folks. And that's about it. Mr. Clutch, that's my partner in crime here. He changes his IG handle on a daily basis, but everybody knows Mr. Clutch is. I think he's just a kid from Brooklyn right now.
I understand.
And then I'm not going to leave out DJ OP. He's been a part of the team since day one. He does his own thing most of the time, but whenever it's time for us to perform, especially in the class where OP is part of the team.
Understand.
Yeah.
So hopefully in sometime in the near future we might be able to get on to the other members and possibly have you guys collectively on an interview so we could find out what's the nitty-gritty about the whole Ontrack movement. Maybe we could organize that in the near future.
It's definitely a history that's worth hearing.
Yeah.
All right, well, in that point, Ontrack, thank you very much. Really humbly appreciate you taking all the time to, come and converse with us a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everybody who have it locked on right now and listening to the vibes and looking at everything that is taking place right now. And Ontrack, thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Can I make a quick shout out?
Go right ahead, man. The platform is yours.
I want to shout out all the mass camps.
Yeah.
Island Buzz, One Love Army, Image Mass Camp. If I'm leaving any out,